I mean, these guys, serious karma. Really bad stuff going on there. And the FDA's got its chest out and backing up the kill ratios and stuff of this. And this is sickening. This is revolting. This is our own government agency that's setting itself doing this. You know, there's been a lot of FDA whistleblowers that have come out and said the truth about the FDA, and it's staggering. We need to prosecute them. I mean, this is stuff. I know what you think, Lion Man. I gotta think both sides here, man. But never do you see hepatitis or anything like that with liver damage, and you don't get dependency on it. But then again, it could also be about dosages, Lucy. I mean, a lot of people do take things to the extent, you know, over. But I've even never seen this. I really never have. But then you realize how we're doing everything together. We're doing the diets. We're doing the herbs. We're doing everything as one. It just, when you do everything as one, everything is good. People that are half doing things, or people that overdo one or two herbs, possible as a single herb if you were really shucking down Cascara sagrada. I suppose anything in high tannins and alkaloids are going to hurt you, you know, but you would have to massively do it. Comfrey, you would have to massively consume comfrey for it to hurt you. Comfrey is the famous herb that ranks up there with golden seal. So, you know, the FDA doesn't know what it's talking about. This is one question asking me about if I am addressing heart disease. Many doctors say that a low-fat, plant-based diet, heart disease is non-existent and in fact reverses. Yeah, that's just what you're doing here. The best thing for the heart here, and you hit the... you guys are really getting interstitial lymphatic stagnation. I love you, Mark. You know, think of the heart as simply an organ with 4 chambers in it, and a gate or a valve between each two. This is where you hear the mitral valve, the tricuspid. These are valves that simply open up and let blood flow into one chamber to another chamber. Blood comes in, goes to the lungs, gets oxygenated, goes out to the body, comes back into the heart, goes to the pulmonary and gets oxygenated, etc., etc. So in this, just like every other tissue in the body, all the heart is a bunch of cells. And where you have a bunch of cells, you're always going to have the 2 fluids. And obviously the 2 fluids is one's blood and one's lymph. So when blood doesn't flow well, we call that ischemia or a heart attack or a stroke or whatever. Decay, damage, you know, you can go on down that line. The second, if the lymphatic system doesn't move well, then we call that congestive heart failure, or hypertrophy of the heart, the swelling of the heart. It could be the swelling of the prostate. Prostatitis. Any itis is going to give you swelling and hypertrophy, enlargement. But you also have a nervous system in the heart that obviously controls the depolarization or the opening of the valves. So you have blood, nerve, and lymph everywhere in the body, but even the nervous system depends on blood and lymph. So the bottom line has always been blood and lymph. But when you look at the nervous system in the heart, you're also going to go to the adrenal glands, because that's your neurotransmitters. That's systolic blood pressure, your cardiac punch. So you're going to go to the adrenal glands, and you're going to work on that. Obviously, when the lymph system builds up, you see inflammation, or you see acidosis, you see swelling. That can affect nerve flow or blood flow, or both. If your shoulders get real tight and stiff, you'll notice how you'll get numbness down your hands, or your hands will turn blue. That's because the lymph system is swelling and closing off flow of energy. You know, again, if you kept this simple, obstruction is really the key factor of most diseases. Because anytime you block the flow of energy, you could call that dis-ease. And so the flow of 3 flows of energy in the body is blood, nerve, and lymph. You don't want to block either one of them. Nerve is fairly quick, blood is fairly quick in your awareness of it. Lymph is a longer, more accumulative, more painful experience. Even though nerves will numb you and stop the function of things, blood will have some pain in the beginning, but then it'll kill on the other side of it. So in all heart issues, berries and fruits are the key actually to vascular health and blood health, not vegetables. Fruits and berries, it's how you keep the blood thin. It's energized. It's how you keep blood cells separate instead of coagulating or sticking together. It's common to see your blood cells following each other like choo-choo trains, attaching to each other or clustering. That's from these high acidic, enzyme-less diets. So really, fruits, berries, and melons, high in flavonoids, which strengthen the integrity of the vascular system. So in all heart issues, fruits, berries, and melons are still going to come up there being the highest foods possible. You're always going to move lymph, you're always going to fix the kidneys, and you're always going to work on the adrenal glands, which translates into the autonomic nerve health. And that's nerve health here. Now, the thyroid does affect heart rate. So you're definitely going to work on the thyroid and the health of the thyroid, but when you go and look and say thyroid, you also have the parathyroids, and calcium is a vital constituent to nerve health. So, and not only connective tissue, but bone. People have mitral valve prolapses or heart murmurs, have weak valves. This is calcium utilization problems, the same with connective tissue. So if you look at this, the simplicity of this is you're going after all the cells of the human body and making them healthy. Because if you wander too far from that, you're separating from that and going like medical doctors to individual symptoms, and you're getting confused because now it takes you away from the whole. You must incorporate the whole when you look at the part. You always have to do that. And when you do that, you're always successful because you always have to detoxify. That's why it's the golden key. Remember, the end result of detoxification is regeneration of tissue. And that's the ultimate goal here. I'm sure I'm not going to get to a lot of you, and I certainly apologize. I'm doing best. Hard to explain things real quick because really what I'm saying relates to all your questions. So forgive me if I don't get to them when I get back from a couple of days R&R. I'll get to you, back to you. This individual, Laco, is doing predominantly grapes, then some apples, lettuce, sometimes drinks of fresh juice. The problem is that the stools look like chewed fruit, and from time to time gases occur. Well, you're not digesting your carbohydrates, man, and that goes back to the pancreas. I would suggest not using digestive enzymes unless you really, really, really have to. I suggest that you super chew, even chew your juice. You know, put it in your mouth, eat slower, eat less, more often, and get some good pancreatic herbs and work on my pancreas. At the same time, you're going to clean your lymph because you're going to go after why does the pancreas fail to perform? Why does any cell fail to perform outside of genetic memories? And even if we trace genetic memories back, how do you weaken a cell in the first place? And that's going to take you right back to blood and lymph again, but predominantly lymph over blood. So he's got energy, he's losing weight, it looks like absorption is okay. Well, absorption is different than digestion. And you've got a good take on it. I'm glad you said that. Digestion, that seems to be where your problem is, but that's right there at the gate of a horse race. You know, you're right there at the gate and you fail right there, so go after that digestion of the pancreas and stuff like that, and you'll do well, okay? But I would chew a lot more and eat less, and get your saliva digestive enzymes on them as if you're having pancreatic enzymes, same ones basically. About 20 years ago I had the flu. I didn't let the body recover and it involved into pneumonia. Took the usual mega doses of antibiotics and I was left with a nagging problem, sinus fatigue, neurological tingling. Ooh. The doctors, of course, then operated on my sinuses. And then she had full anesthesia, but the symptoms continued. Of course they continued. I mean, this is what these guys don't get. Then because they were bewildered, I bet they were. Those butchers, ooh, yeah, I could use that word, did a biopsy and cut out a huge chunk of lymph and surrounding tissue. Oh, man. Well, they could have removed your face, but, you know, I mean, that's, oh, man, you know, this is the kind of thing that's out there. I feel sorry. I mean, this is what's out there. Sorry you're a victim of that. I spent the last 20 years trying to reclaim my health. Well, go for it, Mr. Truth Forever. You're a good guy. You really go after this. You know what the problem is right now. Simple mucus congestion, and they rip out half the guy's face. I mean, this is the thing. So you go after your lymph. You move that lymph. Get yourself in a cationic environment, a base chemistry environment. Get up on the high diet of fruits and berries. Dig deep in there, because if this is that old, you got a lot of coagulation. You got a lot of anionic environments there where this stuff is probably solidified up in the sinus and brain area. Going to take you a little while to work it out. Don't get frustrated. Use some neti pots. Use some 3-lung tea. Use the breathing treatment there, or drink it. Herbs that loosen up hard sputum and stuff. And really start breaking this stuff up. Work on your transverse bowel, though, I'll tell you right now, and get into your kidneys and adrenals and move lymph. And just go down that road and you'll get it. They should have did that to you years ago. But I mean, that's the path of this planet. So I'm a little hard on it sometimes because I'm like Lion Man. I mean, if you can detach yourself completely and that. But when you're working in this every day and the people that suffer, you know, I sometimes get pulled into that world, you know. Let me see. This is the Funky Boo Boo Nuts, and then it's Dahlia. I see you talking to each other here. Thanks for addressing me. Yeah, I love you all, guys, really. I'm reading all your comments here. If I don't comment, I apologize, but I am reading all your comments here. The type of toothpaste we use at home is bicarbonate, baking soda type. We sell it here in the pharmacy here. I'm going to come out with my own toothpaste here, but some type of bicarbonate, you know, with some astringents like white oak bark and stuff to super clean the teeth. Peaceful love. I'm from Gothenburg, Sweden. Yo! Boy, I wish you guys hadn't signed that codex. We could get herbs into you better. I tell you, these governments are so suppressive now. It's amazing. People just think they're okay until they start getting into areas like this, and you can't get your herbs. Even in Germany, that's an insult to the German people. Passing through. Thank you for passing through, Trouble to Pictures. Thank you much. Thanks for answering. Thank you much, guys. A girl I knew said she did someone else's detox diet and is scared of detoxing because she lost chunks of hair and had problems with her iron levels. Could you please address these issues and how your program addresses them? Well, I don't know the program you went on. I've seen a lot of detox programs, and a lot of them don't consider the kidneys or anything else, and sometimes they're aggressive, too aggressive in certain ways. And I remember I explained to you my first client back 40 years ago was a young lady that lost all her fingernails. She was from New York, read about an ashram down in the Bahamas, went down to an ashram, a yoga ashram, and spent about 3 months meditating and detoxifying in a fruitarian lifestyle, and her fingernails fell off. Well, this is detoxification. And I asked her, I said, you didn't have strong fingernails at all, did you? And she said, no, my fingernails have never been strong. Keep in mind, when you put yourself at the top of the mountain, your body's going to go, woohoo, and you're going to lose tissue because your body's house cleaning. And what's weak goes. So I brought her into a balance there, and man, she grew wicked fingernails. I thought they were fake. But they were like major strong. And it was like the body got rid of the weak and replaced it with the insane strong. And that's what you're going to see if you hang in there. Yeah, some people's bodies are going to go down. But that lady's hair would grow back. You know, she would balance out. Through these years, I think my detoxification process is more balanced than most people's. The kidneys are not considered by many. And so, really, I like mine. Once in a while we have these problems, but it's generally they have these problems first, and it takes me a while. I've had ladies in here, their hair's falling out. It takes me a few months to stop that and to reverse that. But even as fast as we are, I think we do it so balanced that you don't see a lot of this, but you could definitely see, because your body's going to get rid of the weaknesses. That's what you have to understand. The low iron levels, I couldn't tell you unless, you know, what was going on, what kind of detox that was. We don't see that. We see the opposite. If anything, you're going to see low protein in the urine. Oh, is that bad? Oh, yeah, they tell you on dialysis, like the guy yesterday, you know, he's a famous chef, and Chef Arthur, and he, you know, he's on dialysis. But he was peeing until he went on dialysis. Then dialysis is such a toxic procedure that, of course, he quit peeing because it does nothing for your lymph system. It just takes into the consideration of the blood. And so they're always on his phosphorus, but then they tell him to eat protein.